don't feel guilty about those moments that you take to yourself because it matters. When we take care of ourselves and our bodies in even the most small, basic ways, it creates more space, more capacity for us to show up in the world the way that we want to. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Inner Alchemy Show. I'm your host, Ashley Logan, and I'm so happy to have you here today. Inner Alchemy is a show where we go deep on everything from spirituality to relationship and connection to business, belief systems, and really more than anything, we talk about how to show up in the world in a way that feels aligned with you, your inner self, so that you can go out and make all the magic in the world that you'd like to create. I am a coach, a somatic guide, and a mother of 3. I'm an entrepreneur and someone who has a lot of lived experiences and what it means to combat burnout and get life on track. And today I want to talk to you about showing up in the world. Gosh, there is so much happening out there right now. There are endless things to feel devastated about when it comes to things like war, when it comes to things like the Epstein files, when it comes to just the general state of burnout and the languishing nature of our culture as people are just so burnt out, going from these 9-to-5 jobs, being in a constant cycle of caregiving, caretaking, and without a lot of spaciousness. And we ask ourselves often, what can we do to show up differently in the world? What can we do to take care of our communities? What can we do to be the light in the world? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And it really starts with spaciousness. I can't emphasize enough how hard it is for someone who is burnt out, depleted, overscheduled to show up for the people in their community, right there in their community, who are in need. And because that capacity of giving, it's very hard to make a meal for someone who's just had a baby when you have kids in sports until 9 p.m. It's hard to make time to make that phone call to show up for someone when you are absolutely tapped out. It's hard to even have that level of awareness of when someone needs an extra moment of your time when you have to run from one thing to the next. I'm so guilty of this. I am an entrepreneur. I have so much to accomplish in each and every single day. And I'm also a mother of 3 little kids who are 5, just turned 8, and just turned 10. And that means activities, that means their needs, that means homework, that means all of these things that are so, so, so important. And also, I am someone who has a huge heart. Most of us do. And I want to show up for the people in my community who are in need. And that's where it starts. When you ask, what can I do in the world? What can I do to make a difference? What can I do to change the global trajectory? It's, yes, going to a protest. Yes, being aware of current events is important, but truly the biggest difference you can make is right there in your own life, in your own community, and how you show up. For most women, particularly working mothers, we just don't have the time to show up the way that we want to. So I'm going to talk to you about finding ways to actually create that spaciousness, to create that capacity to be able to be in right relationship, not just with yourself, but with the people around you, with your family members and with your community, so that you can really show up the way that you'd like to show up in a capacity that can make an impact. It starts with spaciousness. How many of you out there listening have said yes in the last week, month, year to doing something you didn't want to do? And I'm not talking about saying yes to the girls' night out where you're like, oh, I don't know if I have time to go and do that. I'm so tired or whatever. We're going to get to that. But I am talking about like volunteering for a committee that you have no interest in, or staying on a board that doesn't excite you, doing things because you should. Should is the operative word here. Guess what? We get to write our own rules and decide what we should do. So if you have lots of should statements going through your head about what you should be doing, or I should do this, I should get back, it's time to actually get that clarity that it's okay for you to say no to those things. And it's okay to focus on the things that energize you, not drain you. Doing things over and over again that you don't want to be doing, that will drain your life force. That will limit your capacity to receive information, to show up for other people. So it's important that you start to ask yourself, like, okay, if you have the option to, say, volunteer for the school board, sure, you want to do something. I understand that. Maybe consider taking on one less thing, or donating money, or a raffle item, or something that's going to work within your capacity as a human and feel good. So you can check that box without having to sit in endless meetings and interact with people who maybe don't light you up, and start to fill your time with the things that are expansive to you. And it also goes to things like your kids' activities, thinking about, like, yes, we want to maximize all of the time with our kids. I'm divorced, and so for me, anytime that I have my children, I want to spend all of the time with them. But it's important to ask for help and work together in community with others, and carpool, and do the things that help make it just a little bit easier, so you have that time to catch your breath. You have time to focus on the things that matter the most to you, because you are allowed to have things that fill your cup. And I think that we have a tendency to get into the cycle of not remembering that, like, we as women have hobbies, that we want to go to dance classes, that we want to take care of ourselves and the things that bring us joy. And when we start sidelining our own needs and our own wants, then that's where we kind of miss that opportunity to refill our own cup. It's so important that you have things that fill your own cup. And if you're looking at your week and there's nothing in it for you, it's just going to work, going to kids' activities, volunteering for the committee that you should be signed up for, then life gets really, really, really depleting. And your life force energy is dependent on you having that chance to express yourself, to fill up your own cup. There's that saying that you've got to put your own mask on first. That is really important. So even though it seems like a small thing, if you are home doom scrolling about the state of the world and not taking care of yourself and your own needs and what lights you up, then actually you're going to show up less engaged in your family life, less engaged at work, less engaged with your friendships and within your community. So start to think about ways that you can create some spaciousness for your own dreams, your own desires, whatever they might be. So even if it's something simple, you're like, oh, maybe I don't dance, or I don't want to go to art class, or I don't want to join a writing group. Fine. Take a walk, exercise, move your body, do something for yourself to recharge your battery. We cannot show up in the world the way that we want to if we aren't taking care of ourselves. So spaciousness is so important. It's okay to not be fully scheduled. It's okay to not go from one thing to the next. In fact, I actually think that is detrimental. So leave some space open during the week. Maybe you want to grab a last minute dinner with some girlfriends, or maybe you want to take your kids out for ice cream. Creating that spaciousness during the week to not be overscheduled is like step number one. Oh my gosh. Like, I think about, like, the pandemic had its blessings, I suppose, remote work being one of them. But the problem, I think, with that is that we're so overscheduled. So it's like one Zoom after the next. And then you can look at your whole day in the workforce and be like, okay, I have literally sat in meetings all day long and actually not been able to do anything. So if that is applicable to you, think about how that also applies to your home life. If you are so scheduled going from one thing to the next, you really don't have the capacity to do the things that you want to do in the world. So create some spaciousness. Start by examining those should statements and start getting comfortable with using the word no. I know it's a hard word. But what you can shift, if no is hard for you, as it is for many people, shift to, yes, I'd love to help, and I can do this. Yes, I'd love to be involved, and I'm better suited in this role. So start to align yourself with what your capacity is, and that makes just a huge, huge difference. I also want to talk about a regulated nervous system. There's a lot of talk out there. If you're online, and maybe it's just my own algorithm because I'm, in the wellness space, as a somatic guide, I help people connect their heads with their bodies. And I use a whole host of somatic tools, from breath work to sound healing to creative writing to connection to nature, to help people support themselves on that path. And that is not always accessible. It's very difficult to go to a sound bath every single day to regulate your nervous system. But there are tools that you can do at home to help you create some more spaciousness. And even if it looks like taking a big, deep breath between meetings, giving yourself a 15-minute buffer to stand up, pee, take care of your needs, drink a glass of water. I want to show you just a simple breath. Well, we can do this together where you inhale in for 3 counts and exhale for 3 counts. So it just looks like this. Inhale, hold, and exhale. So just inhale for 3. Do it with me if you'd like. Just take a second and inhale through your nose. Hold and exhale. That breath activates the cells in your body, and you have 40 trillion cells in your body that are all working in your favor. Taking a second to breathe is a great way to just settle your nervous system as you're transitioning from one activity to the next. And that can make a huge difference too when it comes to interactions with your children or your partner, or before going into a meeting where you need to feel extra grounded. Breath is your best friend. And I've told this story before, but like now I see my children being like in between as they're trying to like regulate their own nervous systems, which is like such an incredible gift that we can give them too, is that like, yes, you have this tool. It is your breath. It is available to you at any time. And just by remembering to breathe, we create more capacity for clarity, creativity, feeling grounded, and showing up the way that we want to in presence. And that's really, really important. Moving your body is just vital. Connecting your head, as Tom Hanks said in A League of Their Own, the head that's 3 feet above your ass, that thing. We spend so much time living in our heads and not connecting to our body. And breath is one of those ways that we can access that. Like, yes, we have a heart, we have a tummy, we have a pelvis, we have a whole nervous system that is designed to support us through thick and thin. But moving our bodies and taking care of our bodies and connecting to our bodies is really important. So even starting your day with just gentle stretching before looking, oh my gosh, I'm going to come back to this about looking at your phone. Gentle stretching. So bringing your arms above your head, maybe gently pulling from one side to the next, touching your toes, taking a breath in. That makes such a difference in just activating your cells, activating your body, and taking care of yourself. I'm a big fan of walks. I try to take a walk every single day, not just because of this little doggy here. If you're watching, my dog is jumping up in my lap. The stretches reminded her that I have hands and that she wants me to scratch her. But with that, it's really important to connect with your body. If you are feeling a state of listlessness, if you are feeling anger, frustration, moving your body is such a great way to move that energy so it doesn't live within you. And that stuck energy can create frustration. It can create a feeling of disconnect. And we all are energetic beings. We are processing emotions every single day, every minute. Moving that energy through our bodies and creating a somatic release is essential. So taking care of your needs in that way. It doesn't have to be a hard core workout, but just going outside, doing something that connects your body with your breath, a walk, yoga, stretches, so vital in terms of taking care of yourself. I also want to talk about our phones, these incredible devices. Like, what a freaking miracle that we have these like mini computers. We have access to all of the information in the world at our fingertips. It is so tempting to be on our phones all the time. And also, starting your day by reaching for your phone is a great way to just fuck with your nervous system. It takes you away from being connected to your body, to your brain, your creativity, your own needs, your own desires. There's a great app called Opal that can actually restrict certain apps at different times of day. Now, I've tried using this like in the evenings, and it's like family time, no social. And I like always bypass it because like if my kids are doing something and I want to quickly check, you can like override the system. I'm so rebellious. I know I shouldn't do that. But the one setting that I never override is in the morning. I have all of my social media apps blocked from 5 a.m. to 7:30 so that no matter how tempted I am, no matter what I have going on in my life, that I am not first diving in to Instagram, that I'm not diving into what's happening in the world around us. Because as you know, the second that you open those apps, we are bombarded with information that we aren't necessarily equipped as our human bodies to absorb, from tragedies all over the world to all of the highs and lows that we see from people on vacation and we're jealous of them or whatever it is. It's like all of the emotions that get blasted that are outside of our control. Just give yourself the spaciousness of not engaging, at least in those morning hours. It is a simple shift that allows you to set the tone for your day however you want to set the tone for your day. It matters. There are so many other things we can do to take care of ourselves. But I think that it's those little things. It's those moments of spaciousness in between transition that can make all of the difference. Some of us maybe pull into the driveway after work and sit in our car for a second and scroll our phones. That is actually nervous system regulation, all of the things aside about what is being blasted at us on socials. But like maybe instead of scrolling, play your favorite song and just sit in your car for a second and give yourself a moment to transition. That is allowed. Don't feel guilty about those moments that you take to yourself because it matters. When we take care of ourselves and our bodies in even the most small, basic ways, it creates more space, more capacity for us to show up in the world the way that we want to suddenly have time to make dinner for the neighbor, suddenly have time to talk on the phone with a friend who's going through something, to notice in our nervous system when someone that we interact with needs an extra moment of connection without having to run to the next thing. Give yourself permission to make space because change starts within us, and the burned out woman cannot. And community is everything. And whether we like it or not, we know this, that women are the culture centers of our families, of our communities. We are the ones who organize. We are the ones who create dinners and typically run even the social calendars for our own households. And when we have the spaciousness to be creative, the spaciousness to show up and connect, that is how we change communities. That is how we bring more good, more love, more affection into the world. And that is what the world is needing right now. And that change starts within us. It starts within you. If you haven't, please subscribe to the Inner Alchemy podcast. When I shifted from Unapologetically Yours to Inner Alchemy, I totally messed up. And I think that I lost all of my subscribers. Whoopsie. So if you're listening to this, please go ahead and subscribe so that new episodes get launched right into your phone and you get a notification. So when your Opal app turns off, that you can tune in on your walk or whatever as you're driving people around or getting from one activity to the next. And I would love it if you would take a moment and leave a review because those reviews help make sure that the podcast gets seen. I have so many exciting things coming up and more guests that will help get you thinking, will help you to alchemize your intuition, your skills, your goals, everything into the life that you hope for. Know that I'm here for you in the meantime, and I would love to hear from you. Reach out anytime. My website is ashleydlogan.com. And until next time, thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon.